Chicago Match Race Center. Annie.
That's right. We can't do this without the help of all the volunteers and especially our sponsors. And our strategic partner is Eurex Group. They bring safety, efficiency, and diversity derivatives. They're a leading global provider of trading and clearing services. And they're sponsoring the July Regatta, and that was actually, they did sponsor the July Regatta, and it was the Eurex Match Cup. Our boat sponsor is the CME Group, where the world comes to manage risk. They are our newest sponsor. And the apparel sponsor for this event is Line Honors Performance Sailing Supply, your source for the finest yachting apparel and hardware. We're getting ready for a 5-minute, and how close are we to that? About 20 seconds? Okay, about 20 seconds to a 5. And it's really all about the 4-minute, so we're going to watch them enter. As we said again, Canfield entering over here. He's timing it. 5 minutes coming up.
Well, Annie, I just want to throw over to Scotty Dixon. Scotty Dixon is out on the water, and he can give us a little bit of insight as to what these conditions are like. What do you think, Scotty?
Well, the breeze has definitely not died down. There is still plenty out here. It does look like it has shifted right, and that might... Sorry, we've got a fish trying to jump into the boat here. The breeze has gone right, and that might give a little more protection from the wave condition, but man, it's still everything to play for out here. Boats sailing with reef mains, obviously, and they do have the no spinnaker flag flying also for the prep. So 5 seconds to the entry here. First match, Jury and Canfield.
So, Scotty, we see the Charlie red flag up. The teams will be going around the red mark. Annie, give us the call here on this initial entry.
Well, it is your typical dial-up. The boat that's centering on port, as we learned, does not have right-of-way, so they have to avoid the other boat, and they go right into attack, because what they want to do is complete their attack, meaning they get to a close haul course, their sails are full, they come back up in their leeward boat, and then they have right-of-way. But 8 lost control. They went off to the right. They had to tack away, and 7 now is going to follow them. What we're going to see is they go off into what Dave Perry, one of our guru match racing teachers, calls the playground. And they're going to go off to the right, and they're going to start circling. 8's going to try to get as much distance as they can once they get to the playground from number 7, just enough ahead so that they can jibe back and come back and be on starboard, be the right-of-way boat. We have 2 minutes and 55 seconds, so lots and lots of time to kill, Dobbs.
Yeah, that's right, Annie. And I also want to throw over to our friend Scotty Dixon out there to try to pick up some of the pre-start action from over toward the breakwater. But, Scotty, what we're seeing from the starting line is the right end of the starting line looks about a boat length or 2 favored. So do you think that'll influence the pre-start tactics?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Dobbs. Just eyeballing it from where I am to leeward, the flags on the committee boat have definitely gone right. That shortens up the weather leg considerably because they literally run out of water because of the break wall. So these will be incredibly quick races. I don't know what the signal is for 3 laps or if there's been any mention of it. So we have to assume it's a standard racetrack. Right now we've got Jury and Canfield, and it's Jury pushing from above. Laurie Jury from New Zealand has already shown several times today he's very comfortable in these breezy conditions. He likes to throw the boat around, but Taylor Canfield, he's got more experience in these boats than anybody else, being the current director of the Chicago Match Race Center. 1:34 to go now, and Jury about 4 boat lengths to windward, and I would say they're probably on the ley line for the boat, but Jury will come down. Oh, Canfield's tagged. So nice job by Canfield. He didn't like where he was. He waited until Jury was bowed down, We've got counterclockwise circling with 1:10 to go. So here comes Jury again. So now it's a sprint back to the start, and again Jury will push from above. Canfield goes high. Sorry, Canfield goes low. Jury goes high, and Jury very mature style, pushing from above, not going in too early for the kill. 42 seconds to go. Can you see the action from where you are, Dobbs?
Yeah, thanks for that, Scotty. Annie, we've got 30 seconds left coming into the final approach.
That's right. We have we're under 30 seconds now. Boat number 7, Jury. He is the Kiwi out there. U.S. Virgin Islands, Canfield on the right. They are going to make this starting line. Jury doing a good job hanging there, but Canfield's trying to keep him from being able to start at all. 12 seconds to go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there's the start. Clean start, all clear. Jury wins this start. We have seen a little bit of a shift to the right. We think maybe 5-6 degrees. When we look at the starting line, the orange mark is just a little bit down further than the orange flag on the boat. So starting to the right, distinct advantage, and they absolutely are ahead. There they go, the first race in the semifinals. But now the action. Let's take it right back here in front of us, right in front of the pier. Hardesty with 30 seconds to go to enter. They have to kill a little bit of time. It's not going to take 30 seconds to get all the way to that mark. So we've got about 23 seconds to go. Watch him head up. Again, trying to kill time, luffing, slowing down. It doesn't take any time at all to go, but what they want to do is enter from above the other boat, barreling down from the rocks towards the committee boat. They're going to have tons of speed coming into this start, plus their right-away boat. There's the gun. It's Charlie Red again, Dobbs. They're going to go up to the windward mark. It will be the red, but here we go. Here comes the dial up. Watch as 6 has to avoid, goes through the eye of the wind, completes their tack, and now is the right-away boat because they are lured. Dobbs.
One of the things that our spectators and folks watching will see is how quickly, when the boats stop, they start going backwards. And, you know, the wind is blowing really hard here, but just pressure on the sails of the sails luffing also throws the boats backwards. So it's really a lot of work for the sail trimmers as well as the helmsman to keep control of the boats.
That's right, Dobbs, and we've seen some big collisions out here this morning, one with a lot of damage, one with no damage at all, but definitely some flags flying, lots of umpire calls happening, and what both skippers said of the boats that actually hit the other boats. Even they were on starboard, they had right away, they hit the other boat. It had everything to do with they lost control of their boat. Something went wrong, they couldn't steer. Look as they go backwards. Okay, there's a guy on the bow of the boat. He's holding the jib, and that's to help steer the boat, because at some point you have no steerage, and it's all about having that. Oh, yellow flag on tiller. Okay, Scotty. Dobbs, what'd you see?
Well, that was a very interesting scenario. The boat's coming going backwards, downwind backwards. Will Tiller was obliged to keep clear, being the windward boat, and in the opinions of the umpires, he didn't, so he's got a penalty. And you know, this is another example of just extraordinary boat handling that's necessary in these conditions. I don't know. I'm going to throw it over to Scotty to see if I wonder if Scotty might have an opinion on what he saw on that penalty.
Yeah, Dobbs, pretty obvious from where we said the Tiller penalty. He tacked on to port, and he was slow, and he just drifted down onto the pin end of the starting line, and the umpires saw it. We saw it. It was really an unforced error, Dobbs.
Copy that. So we didn't see that. Thanks very much, Scotty. So he got that penalty for hitting that mark. That is something you have to avoid in the pre-start. But we've got Anna Tunnicliffe here, Olympic gold medalist. Anna, we've got how much time? 1 minute, 15 seconds to go. What would you do right now if you this is the inevitable question, what would you do right now? Lead back or push?
I think these are the conditions where you're wanting to be the trailing boat, pushing the other boat, putting the pressure on. It's a bit tricky though if you get too far away from the line. It's always hard to fight back in this breeze, but you know, pushing boat, you have much more control in these conditions, and from there then you're wanting to be the right hand side boat off the start line.
So with 40 seconds to go, who do you like here, Anna?
40 seconds? Yeah, I think boat 4 is going to be all right. I think they, you know, might be able to do a good enough job in killing enough time on the way back here. But you know, it all kind of depends on where they are relative to the line in a straight line. Odyssee's pushing hard here, and you know, as long as Tiller can keep his stern in front of Bill's bow, he's going to pull it off all right here.
All right, thanks very much. Anna Tunnicliffe, ladies and gentlemen. Anna was sailing out here until just recently. Unfortunately, didn't make it into the Final Four, but she's on her way toward a possible berth in the Olympic Games. We'll throw it over to Scotty Dixon to see how he looked from that start. How did it look from the behind, Scotty?
Exciting stuff for sure, and jury just rounding the bottom mark. I didn't have a stopwatch, but that leeward leg couldn't have been more than a minute or two. But yeah, it was Will Tiller managed to get down and over the bow of Bill Hardesty, who's just tacked a lure to Taylor Canfield. I'm not sure he saw Canfield there, but yeah, great job by Will Tiller to get over the top, and then he came bow up, and he was perfect time and distance for the start. And then all of a sudden, Hardesty realized, well, he was a boat length or two late. So first blood to Will Tiller, but carrying that penalty, he's going to need a much bigger lead than he has now, Dobbs.
Scotty, from your position out there, is it possible to see any favored side, right or left? Where would you go?
Well, our expert team on the chase boat, the backseat drivers, looking at it, the right side of the course certainly offers the protection of flatter water, and I think that's what these boats need. You know, they get pounding in some of these waves, and they really slow down quite a lot. So, you know, if you were to ignore the shifts, you would sail to the right for flat water. I think that's certainly what Laurie Jury did up the first beat. And it looks like Will Tiller tacking in front, and nothing, and it's still half a boat length. These are two of the top teams going at it, blow for blow. But anyway, to answer your question, you'd assume it's an even track, protect the starboard advantage, and maybe the right offers some flatter water. Dobbs?
Copy that. Thanks very much, Scotty. Annie, Will Tiller has a penalty to do, but he's ahead. What do you think? How much room?
I think in these conditions, he's going to need probably 4 boat lengths at minimum to get. Depends on where he does it, actually. But because we haven't mentioned this in this race yet or in these semifinals, but what the race committee did make a decision earlier today after the first flight that no spinnakers are to be allowed. So that's why you're not seeing the spinnakers. If they were going to have a spinnaker up, it would be really dicey trying to do that as a downwind penalty. But with these conditions, they can do it on the upwind leg or the downwind. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. They're going to need a pretty good spread to be able to pull that off. But as we saw in some of the earlier penalties, 3 or 4 boat lengths, they're able to actually do it at the finish and still win. So it's up to the boat behind to hold on if the boat in front has the penalty and just sail a clean race. The first 2 boats are sailing pretty tight up there, but that second group, 4 and 6, they have quite a spread. Actually, both of them have quite a spread now, don't they, Dobbs? Took my eyes off the action for 1 minute, and it all changes. And they, as we saw earlier, the 2 groups get all mixed up, and it's hard for us to see sometimes. Dobbs?
Yeah, I see that. So first boat's around up there. Laurie Jury from New Zealand in boat number 8. in match 1. He's on the final leg into the finish. He's going to go, if all things stay as they are, which, you know, commentators curse, that always changes when we say that. But Laurie Jury has a very good lead over boat number 7, Taylor Canfield, who's just now getting to the top mark. The closer match to watch is, you can see, boat number 4 and boat number 6. Boat number 4, Will Tiller from New Zealand. They're coming down for their first downwind leg, so they're only about a third of the way through the match right now. He's got a very slim lead over Bill Hardesty, but he has a penalty to do. So he's in the lead now, but he's got to shed that penalty at some point. I think that's going to be the match to watch.
I do too. I couldn't agree with you more. There's only about a boat length separation between Hardesty and Tiller, and we have the Kiwi teams are leading these races, but they have to drive. There they go, heading for the white mark is 4 and 6. And coming to the finish line now, we see Jury, that is the Kiwi in front. Out of the 4 boats, the one in front is going to the finish line. The second and the third boats are actually going to round this white mark, go up to the top again, to the red mark, and down to the finish. We have Anna back with us again. Anna, do you want to come and help us call this race that's super close? What would you do if you were behind right now and the boat in front or has the penalty still?
I think as the trailing boat here, you just keep pushing hard and sailing the race there. You're still trying to win the race. You know, it's easier if you're in the lead and the boat behind has the penalty. You know, you know, the trailing boat's just trying to stay a little bit behind, stay out of trouble, and then make their move to pass when they can. The lead boat's trying to keep the distance between the boats close, keep the other boat close behind them, and then just look for the right opportunity to try and counter the foul back.
Well, Anna, you did a great job in some of these situations where you were super tight, you had the penalty, and you were in front. In fact, yesterday, one of the best races that we watched was when you maneuvered so well against the other team and you were able to draw them in and just suck them in and basically outsmart them and get a penalty on them, which canceled the penalties, and you were able to go off and still win the race. So how would you do that here?
Oh, I think here it's a little trickier. When we did it, it was only about 10 knots of breeze. Here we have a good 10 knots more, so around 20 knots. You know, it's about controlling your boat, and you know, a lot of mistakes can be made in boat handling today. So if Will can, you know, really control his boat quite well and just look for Bill to make a mistake, then you know, it'll be a great opportunity to cancel the penalty bout. But you know, as long as Bill just keeps it simple and, you know, has good boat handling, it's going to make it really hard for Will to be able to pull this off.
Okay, and you sailed with 5 people. Hardesty is the only one out of these 4 boats that has 5 on board as well. Do you think that's a bit of an advantage?
It's definitely nice to have the extra pair of hands on board, especially when it's breeze up like this. You know, being at maximum weight in this breeze and having that extra pair of hands, extra set of eyes to look around is definitely an advantage, I think.
When you were sailing out there, it was about 2 hours ago now, because we had that long delay for the hearing. We see all this weed in the bay now. Did you see that out here earlier?
Yeah, it's since the wind changed yesterday afternoon, we started to see this weed start coming down. The massive patches that you definitely want to try and avoid, because if you get that caught on your keel or rudder, it's going to slow you down and it's not going to help your race out. But you know, having those extra pair of eyes to look out for those weeds and tell you to avoid them, it's quite handy.
Okay, so who do you have doing that on your boat? Is it the bow chick?
It is the bow chick. It's Liz. You know, she's eyes out, looking for everything that I can avoid to keep us going fast.
Check out those waves. That's just amazing to watch them crash over the seawall. Now, Hardesty is boat number 6. He is trailing behind Will Tiller from New Zealand. Will Tiller, wow. Will Tiller, a young Kiwi, doing a great job out here against this international field. There's only still about a boat and a half of separation, and as we pointed out, there is a yellow flag flying on the umpire boat that's trailing behind. So Will Tiller will have to do a penalty turn. A penalty turn going upwind means he's going to have to do a jibe. And if he's heading down towards the finish, look for him to do a tack towards the wind. Dobbs?
Yeah, thanks, Annie. I have next to me Nate Hollerbach. Nate's a former national champion in match race sailing. What are the options here for Will Tiller, Nate?
Well, I mean, he's got a penalty on here, and you know, as you could see, he had a pretty good boat, like 3 or 4 boat length lead going up this beat, but he opted to slow down and let Hardesty get closer so that he can try to get into a penalty situation here. That's pretty much his only option. I think he probably figured that Hardesty was so close that he couldn't complete a turn, so he's going to watch him on this next downwind leg. It's going to be very close action here as we get down into it. Will Tiller is going to try to draw Bill Hardesty into a penalty here. So you see they're not doing the traditional just bear away here, Dobbs. They're going to get up here, get this cat fight going. We might see a lot more flags flying.
Well, we're going to toss it over to Scotty Dixon. Scotty's out on the water following this pair. Go, Scotty.
Scotty, go ahead.
Oh, he did it. He did it. Come on.
Okay,
Whoa,
he did it.
he got the penalty off.
Got the penalty off.
He's
and
wiped
here they
the
go.
penalty.
We're waiting for Scotty, but
Unbelievable.
here he goes. Scotty, we're waiting for you anytime.
So we're trying to get...
Well, sorry, had a little radio miscontact there, but Will Tiller, beautiful move. Tacked at the top mark onto port. Hardesty followed. He got Hardesty overlapped to windward. They sailed past the mark outside the 2 boat length circle, and he got Hardesty in a luff, and then he followed through, completed his exoneration. And now they're coming downwind, aiming at the finish line. It's a 3-4 boat length lead to Will Tiller, and penalty flag gone. Annie?
Thanks for that, Scotty. Amazing watching the crew work. As Anna was pointing out, it's so hard to maneuver sometimes out here with these conditions to have it exactly right. It's a much tougher thing to pull off in these conditions, but we're all sitting here just going, wow, good move, great job. And Tiller regains the lead, stays up there, and he did a brilliant move.
Seriously, Dobbs, talk about balls. That was incredible. 25 knots of breeze out here. It is so hard to drive these boats. I was just out there. I just came off the water. Mike Buckley, my skipper, is probably one of the best skippers out here, and he had trouble driving around today. That was an incredibly hard maneuver to pull off by Will Tiller. He was able to drive Bill Hardesty up above him, tack around, jibe around again, and clear his penalty, and he still has a lead here. Unbelievable sailing by Will Tiller. Maintains the lead. It's not over. Bill Hardesty pushing hard here.
Oh, my God.
But Will Tiller, damn, nice sailing by him.
Watch this. Very, very close. Oh, man, they needed about 20 more feet.
And photo finished. Boats overlap. Can't get better than that. Will Tiller, crew obviously celebrating there.
Give him a cheer, guys. That was an awesome
victory.
race.
This is what match racing's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome, awesome display of seamanship, tactics, skill, execution. Unbelievable, Annie.
Unbelievable, Dobbs, and it's the best 2 out of 3, so it's not over. They're going to go after each other again. Next up, we're going to have Jury against Canfield again, but this time Jury will be entering from the port, Canfield from the right, Tiller from the left, Hardesty from the right. But it doesn't get any better than that. As we said, we wanted to bring you action with this much wind and this close up to the pier. It's fantastic. I swear if they'd had another 30 feet, I think Hardesty would have got him because he just came on strong at the very end. But that top mark, that was textbook fantastic.
Well, I just wanted to, unbelievable. Really, really good execution. I wanted to see if Scotty Dixon could tell us a little bit up from his perspective, just a few meters away from that turn up there. Scotty, that was unbelievable. I mean, would you have tried to turn the boat in 25 knots of wind like that?
Loaded question, Dobbs, but absolutely superb boat handling by Will Tiller and his team. They had a plan. They kept their eyes absolutely focused on Bill Hardesty and his team, and they picked their moment, and they waited and waited and waited, and then when they saw Hardesty get overlapped, they went in for the kill. Hard luff. Hardesty had to keep clear, and as Hardesty came up, they swung through into a beautiful, absolutely textbook exoneration. I can tell you, going across the finish line, you were as close as I was, but you can see Will Tiller and his team pretty excited about coming back from that one. That was a real testament to their staying focused, and it's never over till it's over.
Well, that's right, Scotty, and I'll tell you what, that's why Tiller and his team are the top ranked in the world amongst this field out here. They're showing that polish. Being able to execute maneuvers like that in these conditions is certainly a sign of competence well beyond their years. They're also a very young team. So for those just joining us, we already have the first flight of the semifinals done. We've got Laurie Jury and Will Tiller both advancing to 1 point. Now this is a first to 2 point series. So we are in must-win situations for Taylor Canfield and Bill Hardesty. They have to win this next match to stay alive in the semis. Annie, anything you can say for that? Or what are they going to do?
Well, like you said, they have to stay alive to stay in here, and what we're finding is these more. Well, I just want to mention that some of these guys do have some pickup crew on their boat, so it's a little bit harder to race against a team that has been sailing together for years. And I think Tiller, that's exactly what's happened. They have 4 guys on board that work together all the time in different conditions, and they do this for a living. I don't know that they're making enough money to buy a house or pay a mortgage. They're awfully young, fresh out of college, in fact, but this is what they do. They live out of a suitcase. They're moving the race committee back right now. They're letting the anchor chain out a little bit more, trying to square things up. As we said earlier, the starboard end was a bit favored. Both boats that entered on the starboard end last time actually won the races. So what we see now is they are going to stay on the same boats that they have now. Sometimes they make them switch, but they're going to stay on the same boats. The teams will keep their boats, but they will change sides. So Hardesty and Canfield now will start on the starboard side. They will have the starboard advantage, that's the right of way, to enter the box. But now they've taken away the advantage of the wind shift being to the right just a hair. And we look up at the flags above us here on the end of Navy Pier. They're heading almost in line or parallel here with the end of the pier. So the wind is directly in line with this, and the starting line, the orange mark and the orange flag, are absolutely perpendicular to the wind. The race committee chairman, the principal race officer, Bill Canfield, also from the Virgin Islands. He's Taylor's dad, but he's not biased. He's only allowed to do the start and finish, not decide who wins. He's out there doing a fabulous job. My assistant here, Eric Whitty, was helping yesterday on the race committee, and he said it's very, very professional, as it should be. There's no prize money at stake here, but there is pride, and whoever wins this event gets invited next month to a grade 1 event. That's 7 minutes. Foxtrot flag is up. A grade 1 event with $65,000 for the prize money next month. Another Chicago Match Race Center event. This is the Chicago Match Race Center's grade 2 invitational. We have 10 teams from around the world. We've now narrowed it down to 4. We're in the last stage of the semifinals. It's the best 2 out of 3. We just finished 1 race, the first flight, and now we're going to start flight number 2. That will be Jury on boat number 8 and Canfield on boat number 7. Here's 7 up to our left, getting ready, and we're looking for a 5-minute warning with the flag, and once we have the 5-minute, we've got Nate here helping us, and he's going to announce the next start for us. So Nate,
all right,
hand
Nate,
over our mic. Go ahead.
Nate, I know you've never been in this must-win situation before, so you really don't know what it's like, but. But come on, tell us.
Come on, Dobbs, please. Give me a break. It's me, baby. I've been in this situation plenty, Dobbs. Since you were in diapers. And I just got to say right now, Taylor Canfield is probably one of the more talented people out here right now, and he is just I think he's getting inside his own head right now. He had the best first round, he had near the best second round, and now coming in at the end of the second round, he sort of has, I think he lost all 4 matches today, and now he's out here and he's really kind of pouting. So I'm hoping Taylor, he's a good friend of mine, I hope he can pull it around, pull it together here, because he is a CMRC veteran. Hopefully he can come out, get some wins under his belt, get back into that groove that he was in earlier in this regatta, and really pull this off. There you hear the 5-minute gun, the numero 1 pennant comes up, and we're getting into this, Dobbs.
Well, I think Taylor could be pouting because last night he was lobbying for full mains. He's like saying, "Oh, we're not powered up enough." And I was lobbying for, just one roll of the dice, and that's who goes into the finals. So that was about the best shot I had at it. So, but here we go, 30 seconds to entry. Canfield, Jury, Canfield on starboard, Jury on port. As you can see, he's lining up his entry here. 20 seconds to go. You'll see the flag drop. 15 seconds here. Jury lining up his entry, wanting to hit that pin. Wanting to hit this pin at full speed, not doing the best job of his timing, but it's incredibly hard out here with the pressure coming in and out and in and out. I know it seems like it's in all the time and it's blowing like incredibly hard, but it's actually up and down. It's blown between, I'd say, 28 and 18 in the lulls, so it changes your timing a lot. So these guys are jockeying, they're moving around, and they're just trying to get their timing. As the pressure comes in, they go faster. As it comes out, they go slower. So it's all about timing and your distance to the line. So as you can see, Taylor actually not doing a very good job of his down-speed boat handling, sailing over Jury and sort of giving Jury the out here. Is he really, though? He's going to come back and have another go at him.
Well, let's see here if Jury can see, like we're talking about, as soon as the boat tacks over and the sails get full like that and they stop luffing, the boats get really loaded up and they want to just spin up into the wind. So it's very hard to maneuver. That's why that maneuver up at the top in the last race was so beautiful to watch, because it was just a great coordination between crew work and driving, able to move that boat around the way that they did and so fluidly. It was just an amazing job by those guys. But here you see Canfield and Jury. Canfield's really got a good strong position on Jury, and he's going to extend here away. How much time do we have left in this start?
2:40.
So 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the start. Just watch for Canfield. If he doesn't think he can jibe and come back at Jury, he's probably going to extend here and just get his time on distance right and get a clean start off the line. When it's breezy like this, Dobbs, what are you thinking? You're really not getting into it, are you? You're not trying to mix it up as much, right?
Yeah, well, it's a fine line, isn't it? If you put it too close, you have collisions. We saw that happen earlier. Too far away, you're not going to be able to get the overlap and the control that you need in the match. I want to throw it over to our friend Scotty Dixon, who's out there on the water. Scotty, what are you seeing with 2 minutes to go?
Yeah, Dobbs, 2 minutes now, and Laurie Jury out of jail. Taylor Canfield jiving over now onto starboard, and Jury doing what he's done every other pre-start so far in the big breeze, and that's just sheeting on and pushing from a respectful distance above. So, yep, sure enough, he hasn't put his bow down yet. He's starting to now. 1 minute 30, still plenty of breeze out here, plenty of breeze. At least we've got a bit of sunshine now. This is really perfect match race conditions, don't you agree?
Yeah, copy that. Thanks very much, Scotty. Nate, do you agree with Anna Tunnicliffe? Better to push from behind?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We always talk about in this heavy air, you push, you push, you push. And what we mean by pushing is Jury in boat number 8. He's actually pushing Canfield to the line. Taylor really just, in a perfect world, all he wants to do is just sit there, luff, kind of chill out, and just get his time on distance right and trim in and go to the line. Well, no. That's why this is match racing. There's another boat out there. Laurie Jury is standing up there like this cat and mouse kind of game. He gets to windward of him, and he sort of just trims in and goes earlier and pushes him to the line, trying to force Taylor Canfield over early. But Taylor, he's a wily veteran. I know he's only about 24 years old, but he has been doing this a long time, and he's not taking that bait. And now you see Taylor Canfield pushing Jury to the line, which is not exactly what Jury wanted, but we're real deep into this sequence here with about 15 seconds to go. Both boats start to wind it up. This is going to be a great start for both boats. Probably split tack. Jury winding it up pretty quickly here. Jury's going to have a much better bow out start here than Taylor Canfield. 5 and gone here. Lori Jury with a great bow out lee bow position here on Taylor Canfield. Taylor's probably going to get the early tack, and Jury just in a commanding position off the line here.
I agree, Nate. That was a beautiful time and distance. I mean, he couldn't have been more than half a meter from the starting line. Having that confidence to pull the trigger and not yellow flag. Taylor Canfield has a penalty. Let me throw it over to Scotty Dixon. See, Scotty out there. What is the yellow penalty for? Over.
Contact, Dobbs, and it was Taylor Canfield coming into the start, and I think Laurie Jury had pretty good time on distance. Taylor Canfield pushing, and we believe he literally sailed into the transom of Jury. Dobbs?
Okay, yeah, so he heard it from Scotty Dixon, who's out on the race course right now. Canfield just ran into the back of Laurie Jury, so that's a penalty on Canfield. So if he wasn't sulking before, he's definitely sulking now. If he's no, I'm getting the no from our Olympic gold medalist. You know that Taylor Canfield spirits are running high on his boat apparently.
I think what I saw in that last start though also was that Jury was able to shut him out at the starting line, and he had to follow him into the race committee boat, and he wasn't able to slow down enough, and he tapped him because he did follow him right on his stern around that committee boat, and we saw the flag right after that. So I think that's what happened. But now, getting to this start, we have Tiller on the boat number 4. That's Will Tiller. He won the last race against Hardesty. And as we explained, this is a do or die situation. Hardesty has to win this race in order to stay alive. Nate, this is the start right here. 4 and 6 Tiller on port.
No, but what's the how are we doing up here with did Taylor win the first one? Did he win the first one? Oh, okay. So yeah, absolutely a do or die for Hardesty, because Tiller took that last one with that beautiful move in the top corner of that leeward leg. Hardesty coming around jibing onto starboard, being very aggressive here. Great boat handling from Bill Hardesty. What's that? Yeah, absolutely. Like the other announcer said, we have to be aggressive. He has to go for it. This is a do or die for Bill Hardesty in boat number 6 with the yellow flag on. No penalties going right now, but Bill, being very aggressive out here, is probably going to keep it close to Tiller the whole time so he can gain that crucial advantage. All it takes is a couple feet out here to just have a slight advantage on somebody, and then you can lean on them up the beat and just get your bow out and then get into their breeze and then get to the favorite side of the course and just start extending that lead the entire time. So the start is uber critical out here. If you can get those much needed 2 feet or 3 feet out there, it's huge up the race course. You can just exploit that. It's like a crack in a well, like a road or something.
All right. Well, with a few cracks in the road, as Nate Hollerbach says, Scotty Dixon, minute and a half to go. What do you see? Is Hardesty going to be able to take control of this pre-start?
They're circling as if it's blowing 10 knots here, Dobbs. They're just throwing in jibe after jibe. This is the most pre-start circling we've seen in any match so far, and it's Will Tiller who breaks off first with a minute 9 to go. Hardesty pushing from above, and it's all time and distance now. So Tiller thought Hardesty was hooked above him. Hardesty had a bit of an ugly bear away there, didn't get the sails eased. So 52 seconds to go now. For my mind, they are still early, but they're still above ley line. Hardesty close to getting the hook on Tiller here, very close, and that's, I would say Hardesty's got to be hooked now. 37 seconds to go now, and Tiller will just play the high and slow game now. No, Hardesty's going for one more dig, 28 seconds. So it's all time and distance now. I don't think he can hook Tiller, and Tiller thinks he's pretty good for time and distance.
Yep.
He does a couple of transom shimmies at Hardesty, and Tiller's cheating on now, Dobbs.
He's keeping him out there, Dobbs. He's shoving him out just like we saw in the last race, except for there a little bit more overlap. So number 6, Hardesty, actually tacking away, not able to make it onto the starting line. And there goes Tiller. There's a gun. Tiller's got a clean start, absolutely ahead. And rounding the bottom mark, we see Jury with a huge lead, but there's still a yellow flag up on the umpire boat behind him. So we're going to watch and see when he decides to take his penalty turn. He's got plenty of lead, though, don't you think, Anna, that he can pull that off? Or when would you do your turn at this point?
Well, it's actually the boat behind Canfield that has the penalty, so Taylor's got a lot of work to do to catch up. But, you know, with this big breeze, you got to keep fighting for every boat length because anything could happen to the boat in front. So Taylor's just got to keep pushing hard and look for the opportunity to counter the foul back.
Thanks for that correction. And Hardesty now across the starting line. And as we've seen in some other races, they get a little bit overlapped and mixed up between the two. So we're going to do a good job trying to keep track of the two. Tiller, great start, great time and distance, as Nate pointed out. And Hardesty now just trying to get back there into the race. He's doing a good job, though, I think, don't you? He's sailing nice and high and fast. Nate?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Bill Hardesty's only concern right now is keeping it close. Up the beat, when you get behind as a tactician or as a driver, as an entire team, your entire thought is just stay in touch with the guy ahead. Don't do anything stupid. Don't let a wind shift don't get out of phase. Don't let the guy get like 30 boat lengths ahead. If you can just stay connected to the guy in front of you, to the guy you're sailing with, you'll have a shot at him downwind when you can jibe and you can get on the other boat's breeze. So Bill Hardesty right now doing a very good job, a nice quiet boat. The entire crew out hiking very hard. He's trying to kind of wind up inside boat number 4 so he can just get a little bit closer to him on the next tack and just stay in touch with the guy ahead so he has a chance to attack downwind right now. Where's Dobbs?
Don't lose that. Do you have Scotty? We're going to try to find Scotty. He's out there on the water in the protector with the white cover there. And go ahead,
yeah,
Dobbs,
Scotty. What do you see out there, mate? We've got two pairs on the course now going upwind. Bill Hardesty behind with a penalty. What's your perspective?
What we're seeing is no. There's a penalty on Canfield, no penalty on Hardesty, but Tiller came across the starting line, had a good start. He effectively shut Hardesty out. Hardesty had no option but to follow Tiller in. The problem was that Tiller came across the starting line about the same time that Laurie Jury was rounding the leeward mark. So Tiller sat and gasped for a long time, and Hardesty has just worked up and to windward of Tiller, and yeah, Hardesty and both boats now reaching back for the top mark. Tiller couldn't tack and cross, so lead change. Bill Hardesty in the lead. Dobbs?
That's incredible. Bill Hardesty having taken the lead. This is a must-win match for Bill Hardesty to stay alive. Now remember, folks, the winner here at the Grade 2 Invitational gets an invitation to the Grade 1 event, which is at the end of next month here at Navy Pier, $65,000 in prize money. So there's a lot to fight for here. But Bill Hardesty, Nate, what do you see?
Yeah, Bill, like I said, Bill was trying to get wound up inside of his competitor so that Bill is in. What boat number is Bill in? Hold on, stand by. So Bill Hardesty is in boat 6. He's the second boat about to round this mark. What I said is he's trying to wind up inside the other boat, so the other boat couldn't tack and cross, and he did a fantastic job of sailing really high, getting inside his competitor, boat 4, so that he couldn't tack and cross, and now Bill tacked early, leads Will Tiller into this mark, and now actually has the lead here. So fantastic job in a much-win situation by Bill Hardesty. Just great job. I know everybody on shore here, there aren't a lot of sailors. There probably are even fewer match racers out here. So it might look like there's not a lot going on the starting line here, but just imagine that everybody out here knows exactly what the other person is trying to do to them, and they're trying to stop them from doing that to them. So if you can just imagine a scenario in anything that you do at home or in work where you know somebody's going to try to mess with you, and you know exactly how they're going to do it, and you can come up with a plan of how to, like, counter that. Big luck coming here.
On the water here, Nate. We've got Hardesty fighting hard to defend that position, defend that lead that he that he earned. Nate, what are the options here? What do you see?
Absolutely. So Bill, basically tactically here, he's just trying to drag Will Tiller out over to the Navy Pier here, so that you see they're trying to round this white mark. Bill's going to keep pushing his competitor Will Tiller out to the Sailor's right here, and he's going to jibe back and lead him into this right mark here with the lead. So he's just going to hold on until he absolutely can jibe and absolutely has the lead here. So now you see Bill Hardesty completing the jibe about a boat length and a half ahead of Will Tiller. They're both really tight into this leeward mark. So this leeward mark rounding for them is going to be pretty critical, right, Dobbs?
It certainly is. Bill Hardesty doing a masterful job. I think what you were trying to describe before, Nate, is a chess game, right? This is absolutely a chess game.
Absolutely. Everybody knows all the moves. Everybody's fantastic at their job out here. So it's very subtle what we're seeing. So it's not super exciting on the starting line, but Bill did a great job of just maintaining enough gauge to windward of Will Tiller off the line, and it looked like Will Tiller was bow out and ahead and leading the race, but no. Bill Hardesty staying inside.
He's going to hit the mark. Is he going to
Will Tiller! Oh! No! Blue flag from the umpires. That is because of the boom making contact with the leeward mark there. Tiller just, adding insult to injury around that leeward mark. Exciting stuff, Dobbs.
Unbelievable. You know, we were commenting, Will Tiller, the Kiwis, polished, right? I mean, they probably sail this stuff every other day.
All week, fantastic sailing.
They had a beautiful jibe at that leeward mark. They got inside Bill Hardesty. Hardesty was a little late in his jibe, a little late in getting trimmed in and getting up to windward. Tiller got the windward gauge, tacked too early, didn't have control, hit the mark.
Yeah, and this is just, you can look at the two boats, this is just a momentum shift. Look at how hard Bill Hardesty's team is working. They're hanging over the side, they're hiking the boat down, they got arms out, they're just working their butts off. And Will Tiller, they're sitting in, hunched over, they're probably a little disappointed in themselves for hitting that mark and kind of taking them out of this race, but they are still up 1-0. So, and this race is far, far from over. So you see a double tack from Tiller there. That's only because he wants to get clear air and he wants to get some separation from Bill and kind of let the wind shifts take their course, and hopefully he can come in ahead. He's trying to mix it up a little bit. But Bill Hardesty gaining, doing a very good job there of rolling into a nice tack and then rolling back. And you'll see Bill probably doubled or tripled his lead on that little exchange right there. Will Tiller also with the penalty to do. So Hardesty, 1 point firmly in hand, probably will end up tying this one up here.
Yeah, so out on the water, Scotty Dixon, who looks better going upwind here? I mean, is Tiller able to close that gap?
Well, Tiller's been able to wriggle free. He did a couple of downspeed tacks, but that's meant that Hardesty is stretched out. Hardesty out to about a 5 or 6 boat length lead, and Tiller obviously carrying that penalty from hitting the leeward mark. So Bill Hardesty starting to look pretty comfortable now. He's trimmed a little bit different from the New Zealand team, and of course Bill Hardesty and his team have proven themselves to be very fast in any number of classes. So I'd be surprised if Will Tiller can make an indentation on this lead, Dobbs.
Well, thanks very much for that, Scotty. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Bill Hardesty out there who is on his way. Now, it ain't over till it's over, right, Anna?
Absolutely. I mean, Will's definitely made it a little bit harder for himself here, getting that penalty and, unfortunately having to do that double tack halfway up that beat. But, it's anyone's game in this big breeze. All it takes is one small mistake, and you can close that gap right up. So Will's got to keep pushing hard here. Bill's just got to keep it simple, sail clean, and cross the finish line first to tie up this series and take it to a third match.
And to put it even more harshly, if Hardesty wins this race because of that big mistake and goes on and wins the next race because it's best 2 out of 3, that is a huge upset, and he'll go into the finals instead of Tiller. So that's a big one, and I'm sure Tiller's not happy with that now, but hey, we've seen it over and over. It's not over until they get down here. Things have been breaking. People have been falling overboard. We're going to just wait until we see them cross that finish line, right, Dobbs?
Absolutely, and just because they're coming downwind without spinnaker doesn't mean there isn't some skill involved here. I mean, we've seen the teams downwind sailing, you know, wing-on-wing sailing, the sort of thing you do when you're learning to sail. But in 25 knots of wind, it ain't so easy. Those that do it better than the others can gain valuable boat lengths here. We saw in that last photo finish how, you know, the team that had, I think it was Tiller, wasn't it? I mean, they surfed in. It was just amazing.
That's right, and one of the things they have to look out for when they do have this wing-on-wing situation is that they don't let that jib out too far, because it can wrap around the front, which is what we saw in one race. In fact, that was I think that was a local team, and their batten got caught on the wrong side, and they couldn't get it off. They actually had to stop the boat and take the jib down and put it back up again. So small mistakes are very, very costly out here today with these conditions, and the sailors are all used to these conditions. Some of them haven't had as much experience on the Tom 28s as the others, but after 3 days, I think they're all up to speed, don't you?
Absolutely, and coming in, surfing into the finish line. Let's have a big round of applause for Bill Hardesty. Bill Hardesty keeping it alive.
Staying alive.
He's keeping it alive here to go into a third match. 1-1 now for these teams. The first team to get to 2 points advances to the finals. We already have a finalist with Laurie Jury. Laurie Jury, thank you. Laurie Jury from New Zealand will be going to the finals, so we won't know until the outcome of the next match who will be meeting. Laurie Jury, will it be I don't know. What do you think, Nate? Is it going to be Kiwi on Kiwi, or can we have a U.S. Kiwi smackdown?
Team.
What do you think?
Kiwi on Kiwi, isn't that illegal in this state? Unbelievable. It'd be pretty cool, though, Dobbs. I mean, there are a lot of great, talented sailors here, and you know, it's just awesome to have competitors come from so far to compete here in Chicago. So.
Well, but I'd like to say that, you know, Hardesty was one of the co-founders of this Chicago Match Racing Center. He did help Don Wilson get it started. So I think we've got some fans out here. I hope we have some fans out here for an American team. If you're rooting for the Americans here on the pier, let's hear it. Okay, and if you're rooting for the Kiwis, let's hear it. All right, it sounds about even. It's going to be fun, but it's not over. We've got one more race, as Dobbs pointed out, and we're going to finish the semifinals very shortly. The legs are about 5 minutes each, and it'll be about 20 minutes total. They're going to start really soon. We're going to look for that Foxtrot flag, and then it'll be 7 minutes to that start. They'll be the only 2 teams racing. As soon as that's over, we'll know who's in the finals. And then, as far as we know, it'll be best out of 5. So the first one to reach 3 wins.
Annie, what do you think about this day? Let's talk about this day. I mean, can you get better conditions? I mean, yeah, we've got reefs in, we don't have spinnakers, but geez Louise, I mean, great googly moogly. We've got, thank God, Mother Nature has blessed us with such beautiful wind, you know?
I couldn't agree with you more. And in my windsurfing days, and I came out here back in the 80s, I was sailing out here.
Don't say that. Don't tell people that.
It's okay.
Right?
I know I'm old. I don't care. I had so much fun sailing here on Lake Michigan and windsurfing. And if I had a kite, I'd be out there now. If I was better at kite sailing, I would. But these conditions for these guys, perfectly matched boats, same sails, same boats. It's all up to the sailor, and it's all about experience and using their skill and their strength.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I was saying before, you're watching sort of very subtle moves out here. Everybody knows what everybody's trying to do to each other, so all you're trying to do is just stop the other guy from doing that to you. And it might not be exciting on the starting line, but it's only because the wind is so strong that one little slip up, and I'm not even talking about like feet, I'm talking about if you screw up by an inch, you can wipe out and just wipe out the other boat. You can put holes in boats. You can sink your boat. I mean, these guys are incredibly talented to be doing these maneuvers so close to the other teams and pulling them off without getting flags from the umpires. So it's just very cool to watch such talented sailors out there, you know, doing their thing.
Yeah, as we've watched in some of the previous races, they go backwards faster than some boats go forward in these conditions.
I felt like, you know what, that sentence pretty much sums up my entire weekend. My team is standing over here, now they're laughing at me, but we might have gone backwards faster than we were going forwards at some point this weekend. That's kind of how I feel, you know?
Well, you probably weren't the only ones, Nate. And we were just told that they are switching boats to make it fair. You know, after they've had a couple races, they like to make sure, just in case, they want to switch boats. So we're waiting for them to do that, and they're going to have this last race. And then as soon as we can, we're going to start the third and final race of the semifinals. Hey, let's give a wave to some of our other commentators. Scotty out here.
Hey,
on
Scotty,
the
what's going on?
We're getting a warning out there on the race committee boat. We're going to stand by for 7 minutes. That should be happening any moment now. Okay, 7 minutes, and we just had one of our unofficial timers here tell us that last race only was 11 minutes total. 11 minutes to complete 2 laps around the race course. Nate, that's amazing. That just goes to show how fast they really are going. What do you think about 3 minutes upwind and 2 down?
Yeah, and actually, it seems like, well, I'm not going to say it seems like eternity, but when you're out there on the water, you don't even realize the time. You're working so hard and you're focused so hard on your boat and the competitor and your positioning and the next shift coming down or the next puff coming in. You don't even realize the time. But 11 minutes is really fast. I mean, you sail the Chicago to Mackinac race, it takes you like 3 days. You sail a Saturday race out here or a beer can race, it takes you a couple hours. 11 minutes. And we've done, how many races have we done this weekend? I mean, like 90,000 races. It's pretty exciting, actually. That's why I love match racing. I love the head-to-head stuff. I love the matched boats. You don't really have any excuses except yourself, really. I mean, did you sail well or did you not sail well? And that's really, you've got nothing else to blame it on out here.
That's right, and what we do love about match racing, that it's constant action, your head and your body constantly looking out. It's all about anticipation. Give them a cheer, you guys. You like the Americans? These are Bill Hardesty and crew here with the blue flag. They'll be starting over here by the pier, and we're going to have a 5-minute warning coming up in about 25 seconds. After the 5, we'll get a 4-minute, and that's when they're going to enter the box. Hardesty on the blue port side entry, they're going to be the giveaway boat. So Tiller, in fact, has the right-of-way in the first head-to-head meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's not as critical as it is in lighter air when the boats get a little closer together, when it's easier to maneuver. But it's still a pretty big deal. So if Hardesty kind of screws this up at all, Tiller coming in on starboard is going to have that advantage. Hardesty has to get out of his way. So if Hardesty doesn't execute this perfectly, Tiller's going to have a major advantage and have control of this start very early, which is exactly what he wants and exactly, obviously, what Hardesty doesn't want. So you got to watch closely of their time on distance coming into this start, and that initial roundup. That's going to be critical, and who can control their speed better and control their boat positioning better.
So this will be the final match of the semifinals. For those just joining us, Bill Hardesty, can he stay alive? Can he beat the Kiwis? Can he beat Will Tiller? The winner of this match will meet Laurie Jury in the finals for a 1 to 2 point series. Okay, I've just been corrected by our event director, Marianne Ward, that the finals will be a first to 3-point series because the matches are so fast.
Dobbs, let me cut in here. Just what I was just talking about. Hardesty had great time on distance in there, but he didn't do a very good job of turning up and controlling his boat speed. Now he's almost had to win, almost at a dead stop, and you see Tiller up there just licking his chops, waiting for Hardesty to tack back on the port so he can put his bow down and just really own Hardesty here. So Hardesty in a tough spot, Will in a very strong position early on in this start.
Yeah, Nate, I mean, puzzling. He's almost like he's doing the Bambi, just sitting there.
I've never known Bill Hardesty to do the Bambi. He's a fighter, he's incredibly aggressive, and he is probably pissed off right now. So he's had to win. He's doing the right thing, though. He doesn't want to get pushed over to this seawall. He doesn't want to get into a bad spot. But also Will Tiller, like we talked about, knowing the other guy's move, has positioned himself to windward and given himself enough distance to let Hardesty do what he wants here. Hardesty trying to tack over onto port, still stuck head to wind here. This is going to be very interesting. The longer they kind of go backwards like this,
Anna,
the longer they go backwards. Hold on, Anna.
Anna, have you been here before? Tell us.
No, I was just saying, Bill's doing a really good job at just waiting, being patient, waiting for Will to come up to him. You know, Will's going to put himself, maybe this could be a little bit dangerous here, sailing right behind a boat going that fast backwards. But now he's just giving Bill an out, and so Bill's now free to sail around as he wants. Bill did an awesome job there, just staying patient and waiting for Tiller to drift down into him. Now we have 2 minutes to go to this start. Go ahead, Nate.
No, Anna, you're right. That was awesome. Watching Bill do that. I've actually never seen that before. That was very, very cool on Bill's part. And now Tiller, he's out, and he's going to get this starboard advantage here. That was fantastic. Anna, have you ever done that in a match before? That was very cool.
No, that was very, very cool indeed. We actually had a match earlier today where we had a similar setup, and you know, maybe Bill learned from that and witnessed it. Just waiting patiently as that leeward boat, waiting for the other boat to make the mistake and take your opportunity for the out. Bill got his out, and now he's off, probably set up for the start that he wants to get.
So Anna, you gonna take that move to the Olympics?
We'll put it in the playbook as one of our top secret moves.
Absolutely. So you can learn some stuff doing commentary. So here you go, Will Tiller.
Got about
Will Tiller tacking around, trying to get into a strong controlling position on Bill.
1 minute, right? Less than a minute?
Less than a minute. 50 seconds to go on this start. Bill Hardesty leading Will Tiller into this starting line here. Both boats setting up, trying to get their time on distance right, jockeying for position. Will Tiller trying to push Hardesty to the line like we talked about, trying to force Hardesty over early. 35 to go. Their time on distance looks great. They're trying to, Hardesty trying to keep that high line, trying to shut Will Tiller out at the boat. Tiller trying to push Hardesty down the line towards this orange mark, this pin here. 20 seconds to go in the start. Both boats should be winding up here, trying to get their boat speed up. It takes a couple seconds to get both boats going, and you want to hit the line at full speed.
5. I think right here is going to be set up perfectly. You know, Tiller's going for the right. Both boats are wanting to be the right-hand side boat. As we saw in the last start, Bill was the windward boat, the right-hand side boat, and was able to control Tiller all the way out to the left-hand corner. This time Tiller was trying to set up to the right. Almost got it, but didn't quite. Couldn't quite hang there on Bill's hip, and now had to tack away. Just put Bill in a controlling position here.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill was able to get off the line and be very, very close to Will Tiller, causing Will to have to tack early and commit to this right side of the course. Bill Hardesty now, you can see, full crew, hiking hard, trying to get up over the top of the tiller. Scotty, are you out there? Let's try to get an update from our on the water commentator.
So Scotty Dixon, awesome start there by Bill Hardesty. Time and distance to the line, good execution on the tack. How's it look from your perspective?
Yeah, Bill Hardesty out in front, hiking hard, and really a mistake by Will Tiller at about 1:20 to go. He tacked under Hardesty and went for the luff when he didn't have the boat speed, and Hardesty just went up and over the top, and that's what really brought Hardesty back into the start. But great job by Hardesty, And Hardesty, as I said before, he's trimmed really well. Team hiking, I mean, the Kiwis are hiking hard, but Hardesty's team really hungry for this one. They are trimmed hard, hiking hard, looking good. Dobbs?
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, great job by Bill Hardesty and the team. Here come the Kiwis. Nate, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's tough,
Downspeed
man.
tack, that couldn't have been good.
It's tough, yeah. 2 downspeed tacks. Will Tiller's got to do anything he can. I mean, remember, up the second beat of the last race, Will Tiller was in this exact same spot. He did 2 downspeed tacks to Bill Hardesty's 2 very upspeed tacks or just natural tacks, and Bill gaining on that the whole time. But Will Tiller's got to do something. I actually think in this breeze here, it's not something that you want to actually engage in attacking duel, because 2 downspeed tacks are so slow. You give up so much because the boats are actually going so fast. So you're actually going down speed too much. I actually just like to drag it out to a corner here and just keep it very close so I can attack around the weather mark like we talked about.
That's a good point. You know, but when you're behind, you got to do something, and they want to split tacks, and if the other boat tacks to cover you, then the only way to split is to go the other way. So now they have a bit of a separation. It's the first time we've seen that. And as you just pointed out, Nate, going straight line and just having more of a drag race, trying to get in the groove and go, that helps. But as we were mentioning yesterday, the further you get apart, the more the gains and losses are. So you don't want to get too far away from your opponent, especially if you're in the lead. Name of the game is to stay between the competition and the mark. Tiller actually is looking pretty good over there on the right, but again, we won't be able to tell until they come back together, and that's going to be up to Hardesty to tack. And they're going around the red mark. We see Hardesty tacking now, and we'll see if they're still in the lead. I believe they are. We're going to get Scotty.
Scotty, you're up there. How comfortably is Bill Hardesty crossing Will Tiller?
Well, pretty comfortable by the margins that we've seen today. Hardesty making sure he's well clear of the mark, easing his sails, and he's already around and gone, and Tiller yet to tack, so it's going to be about, I would say, 8 boat lengths by the time Tiller gets around. Dobbs?
Well, thanks for that. It looked quite scary there when they first went around the mark. Almost looks like they heeled over enough to touch. How close was that, Scotty?
There was a fair bit of distance between the boats, actually. Yeah, again, Bill Hardesty just sailing very, very fast. He's trimmed well, team hiking hard, and just seems like he's got that boat speed edge where if he can get his bow out and sail clean, he's proving very, very tough to beat. But the delta right now, it's about 10 bow lengths, and without the spinnakers in this race, that's a big deficit for Tiller to make up. Dobbs?
We'll copy that. Thanks very much, Scotty. Scotty Dixon out on the water, giving us the blow-by-blow, up close and personal. Anna, what would it be like out here in these conditions in an Elliott?
Yeah, in an Elliott, we have, it's a slightly smaller boat, a 6-meter boat, about 20 foot long. We sail with 3 people, and we hang over the side of the boat like all of these people are doing too. It's a very, very powerful boat. We're not actually allowed to put reefs in our sails like this, so our sails would probably be about the same size as these ones, but we only have 3 people hiking the boat flat. So it'd be quite precarious, take a lot of strength, a lot of work, and it would take a lot of practice to be very comfortable in these conditions.
What's the possibility of having having this in either the trials or the games themselves?
Yeah, trials and the actual Olympic Games are going to be held in a city called Weymouth in the UK, and the city's known for any kind of conditions. You could have bright sunny day and flat water and 5 knots of breeze, and it could be warm or it could be windy like this, cold and raining. So you have to be prepared for anything, but our trials are in May next year, so the chances are quite high that that we'll have windy conditions like this.
All right, thanks very much, Anna. Anna Tunnicliffe, Olympic aspirant. She's also a gold medal winner from Qingdao. I don't know, Nate, what are the options now for Will Tiller?
Well, he doesn't have many. I suppose he wishes he had an engine, or wishes that Hardesty's mast would fall down. I think he's gonna try to just throw anything at Hardesty that he can, but unfortunately with the breeze like this, sort of the rich get richer, right? I mean, unless Hardesty makes a big mistake, he's going to keep extending here, and he's going to have a very comfortable, I hate to say it, the commentator's curse, but he's going to probably have a pretty comfortable win, and we're going to see an American-New Zealand finals.
I like it. I like an international finals. And, you know, if we go back to the last race, that's when Tiller hit the mark. And that was the game change because Hardesty was able to win that race. That put him back in. It was a do-or-die situation. Now we've come out into the third race. It was best 2 out of 3. And Hardesty is winning. But as we said, you know, it's not over till it's over. Things do break, things go wrong. But I am watching Hardesty. He is currently the world champion in an Etchells class, another 3-man boat, 3 or 4-man boat. And that just happened a couple months ago. So he's on his game, and I've actually watched him this weekend step it up in the match racing driving because he has been in first place with Ian Williams on the World Match Racing Tour. He's pulling everything out of his pocket today. He made some mistakes earlier, but he certainly isn't now. He's being conservative.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Will Tiller hitting that lured mark, you could almost see it in their body, in their demeanor. It's definitely a game changer. It definitely changed their attitude and their demeanor out there. What I say, it was a momentum shift. This is so much about how streaky you are. I mean, we saw it earlier. Taylor Canfield just aced the first round, and midway through the second round was way ahead of everybody, had accumulated more points than anyone, and basically something changed, and he went on sort of a losing streak. And I love Taylor Canfield. He's a very good friend of mine, and I expected to see him in the finals this weekend. So it is sort of streaky, and people can kind of catch fire here. And as a team out there, you're just trying to keep your spirits high and stay focused. And certainly a win helps to generate more wins, and sort of, you try to stop that streak of losses generating more losses, right? So it's such a mental game out there, and keeping yourself positive the whole time is so hard.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Nate, you sailed this week with Mike Buckley. Buckley was defending champion from last year. It was a bit of a Cinderella victory last year for come on. You guys came from behind. You got some of that momentum. Did you have any of that same dynamic going on this week?
Well, yeah, we had the same dynamic. We just didn't see the same results.
It's funny how that happens.
No, yeah, I mean, last year we won, and we weren't, we certainly weren't, maybe supposed to win. But we had a very talented crew last year. Just like this year, we had a very talented crew. Sometimes you catch fire, and last year we had some luck go our way, and we were sailing really well, and we sort of had everything sort of jiving, and yeah, we ended up winning. We ended up knocking Taylor Canfield out. We ended up knocking Bill Hardesty out, and then we knocked another New Zealand team out in the finals and won this event. And this year we thought the same sort of mojo was going to happen, but sometimes it just doesn't go your way, and we didn't have the same luck as we did last year.
All right, so coming into the finish of the semifinals, the last race in the semifinals, we have Bill Hardesty from San Diego with his crew. He even has a local on board, Jennifer Wilson. They're all out there. They've just done a fabulous job of staying clean, sailing clean, coming from behind. They had a do-or-die race in the race number 2. Give them a big cheer. Come on, you guys. Let them know you're watching. All right, good job. And Will Tiller from New Zealand also doing a fantastic...
say, can you see?
Okay, Nate,
I feel bad for the New Zealanders.
They're singing. This is great. Start.
Yeah!
Thank you, Anna.
I'm psyched the sun
Anna's
came out.
hiding. No, so that was great. Now, what's going to happen now is we're going to have a sail-off for the finals, and that's Bill Hardesty against Jury from New Zealand, and we're going to have 2 boats racing. We've gone from 10 teams down to 2 teams. It's going to be the best out of 5. So the first team to reach 3 races is going to win this Grade 2 Invitational. We're here at the Navy Pier in downtown beautiful Chicago. It's blowing dogs off chains, cats out of trees, feathers off of birds, hats off of ladies, and maybe a few gentlemen as well. And we're just holding on to our table up here and our microphones and all our paperwork. I'm here with Dobbs Davis, Scotty Dixon, our local Kiwi, if you will, out on the water calling some of the blows. And I'm Annie Gardner. Thanks for coming down. I'm going to give my voice about a 2-minute rest, and we'll come back with you in a few minutes. Please don't leave. If you just got here, it is the Chicago Match Racing Center Grade 2 Invitational.
Well, thanks very much for that, Annie. So stay tuned, everybody. Next up in match race action will be the finals to determine the winner of the Grade 2 Invitational. We'll take a break and be back with you shortly.